there's always something extra special about when we get our hands on a brand new structure deck. And especially when it's one that gives a boost to something we all love. And duelists, we all love Fire Kings. For today's Konami sponsored content, I've got my hands on Structure Deck Fire Kings, which has got all kinds of goodies in here. We've got a new version of Fire King High Avatar Garunix, which when a fire monster is destroyed, it gets summoned from your hand, boosts its own attack, allows you to destroy another monster from your hand, deck or field. We've got a new continuous spell card that allows you to place onto the field Fire King Island from your deck. And not only that, it protects your field spell from being destroyed. It allows you to exceed summon during your opponent's turn if they special summon a monster. And we've even got a really cool new trap card, which summons 3 fire monsters, one from your hand, deck and graveyard, making for great exceed materials. And on top of that, we've got a brand new rank 8 monster, that whilst it can be used in any deck, the Fire King strategy really takes advantage of it. And this is not one to be trifled with. When it's summoned, it instantly destroys all the other monsters on the field. And after the monsters are taken care of, you destroy a spell or trap card as well, increasing your monster's attack. And on top of that, there's a ton of other cool popular cards in this deck that you absolutely are going to want to get your hands on. But that's enough waffling on from me, duelists. Let's get stuck in. So, here we have it, duelists, and I for one absolutely cannot wait to get stuck into this. As always, on the back we have a list of cards which I'm hiding. No spoilers, you have to watch the video, duelists. We include some really cool stuff on here, and of course there will be a paper playmat inside, which the artwork is down here in the bottom left hand corner. Now as we go through this, duelists, if you feel I'm going a little bit fast, my apologies. You can feel free to pause the video if you want to read through cards in finer detail. But I digress, let's get stuck in. Okay, duelists, so we have our structure deck in here, which I'll go through in just a moment. And of course, we have our playmat here. I probably won't open the entire thing up, but you get the usual business in here. We've got a card list, we've got a strategy guide, and everything you could possibly want. And of course, some great artwork as well on here. Okay, so here is card number 1, duelist, Sacred Fire King Garunix, that really cool card we were talking about earlier. Great to see this in here, really, really cool effect. Nice and beefy. Everything you could possibly want in a bit of a boss monster. Next up we have Fire King High Avatar Kirin. Look at the artwork on this, absolutely crisp, lovely, lovely stuff, nice, ultra rare. Then after that we have Fire King Avatar Rang Bali. Again, another card with absolutely incredible looking artwork. Like many of the other Fire Kings, you're going to be able to special summon this nice and easy. It gives you a nice way to negate things, and of course, it destroys one other fire monster when it does. Great stuff. Okay, next up is Fire King Sanctuary. So this is the continuous spell that we were talking about earlier that's going to allow you to get yourself into Fire King Island nice and easy. Okay, after that we have some extra deck cards here. Garunix Eternity, Hyang of the Fire Kings. So this is the rank 8 that we talked about earlier. It takes 2+ level 8 monsters to summon. And if it's exceed summon, you can destroy all of the monsters on the field. You can detach a material and then target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And if you do, it gains 500 attack, making it a massive 3,500. And if it's destroyed while it has material, you can special summon Fire King monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials it had at the time. Absolutely incredible monster, nice and powerful, really cool stuff. And whilst this is really cool in Fire Kings, again, this is generic. You can use this in so many cool decks and definitely make good use of this. Okay, up next we have Fire King Skyburn. A nice quick play spell card. You're going to be able to destroy a number of Fire King monsters you control and cards your opponent controls. And it's got a graveyard effect as well. If a Fire King you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Another really, really cool card. Decklist of the Fire Kings. And this is the trap card that we were referring to earlier. It's going to allow you to special summon 3 fire monsters, 1 beast warrior, and 1 winged beast. 1 each from your hand, deck, and graveyard. Now their effects are negated, and also you need to destroy them during the end phase, but I don't think we mind either of those things. It's also got a really cool grave effect that you can banish it from the graveyard, and this turn your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you normal or special summon a Fire King monster or monsters. It's another really, really cool setup card for you here. We've got legendary Fire King Ponix. Love the artwork on this, really, really cool looking dude. This allows you to add a Fire King spell or trap from your deck to your hand. We've got Fire King Avatar Garunix, one we already know and love. We've got Fire King Avatar Barong, the classic. We've got Fire King Avatar Yaksha. Fire King Avatar Kirin. Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos. Interesting to see this in here. Of course, we love a good Dragon Ruler. Who doesn't? Great to see this here. We've got Burner Dragon Ruler of Sparks. Of course, this is how we're going to get into it. Seems a pretty cool combination to have in the deck. Coach Captain Burman. Well, yeah, he's just a cool looking dude, so what's not to like about that? We've got Coach Soldier Wolfbark, another really cool card. And of course, great synergy with the deck. We've got True King Agnimazud the Vanisher. Of course, the classic combination with your Fire King cards. Must have in here, in my opinion. We've got Infernal Flame Emperor. I remember getting the original deck with this in as a kid, and it's great to see it in here, of course, in a nice common print. We've got Dogaran, the Mad Flame Kaiju. You can always do more Kaijus, and of course, he's a nice fiery boy, so what's not to like? We've got the Blazing Mars, really cool card. We've got Bonfire Colossus, just a free body, and of course, it allows you to target 2 fire monsters you control and destroy them. Really cool stuff. Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, another classic card, another one that I've got great, fond memories of, and of course, it has to be in this deck. We've got Royal Firestorm Guards, of course, getting Pyro monsters back. Who doesn't love it? We've got Spirit of Flames, just another free body for you to summon. Nice and easy, and of course, it gets a little bit beefier if you so wish. We've got Fencing Firefarer, another really cool card. Firebrand Hymnist. Now, this is a cool way of milling out your opponent's cards, although you've got to be careful against certain decks. You definitely don't want to do that. We've got Alpha, the Master of Beasts, another great card, and of course it's going to help you get into those rank 8s that we talked about earlier. We've got Droll and Lockbird, one of the best cards that you could possibly want in this game. A really, really cool card. Stops so many decks in this track, so a must-have in your collection, and of course it's in this structure deck. We've got Onslaught of the Fire Kings, a must-have card in any Fire King deck. We've got Circle of the Fire Kings, another must-have in any Fire King deck. Allowing you to destroy and special summon monsters simultaneously. Great stuff. We've got Rekindling, another really, really cool card that you absolutely need to have. We've got Fire Formation Tenki, another card that I absolutely love. Useful in so many decks, but of course particularly useful in here. We've got Dark Hole, because destroying your monsters and your opponents, absolute plus in this deck. We've got Trade In for sending those 8s to the grave to draw cards. We have Herald of the Abyss. Another really powerful card if you have a bit of knowledge about what your opponent is doing. Really, really cool stuff. You got Flamvel Counter in here. Another great way to protect your plays. We've got Spiritual Fire Art Karinai. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I hope so. Just a good way to put some life point damage on board. Chain Destruction. This is a great way to get some extra destruction going on board. We've got Torrential Tribute, of course the classic. Your opponent makes the mistake of summoning. This is usually where you hit them. Of course it can be set off during your own as well, but that's not the point. Solemn Judgment, one of the most powerful cards in the game. One of the most skillful, if you ask me. I've always thought so, and well, it's in here. Next up we have the absolutely fantastic Infinite Impermanence, incredibly powerful, a must-have card, and now you've got your chance to get your hands on it. Power Sing Stone, another really, really cool card. Nice to see this in here. We've got Coach King, Giant Trainer, some extra deck support for your deck. Nice. Level 8 monsters, of course, required to make this. We've got Diamond Dire Wolf. Being able to destroy your own monsters is always really cool, but when you're doing it alongside your opponents, extra special again in a deck where popping off your own stuff is a great idea. We've got Hito the Fire Charmer Ablaze, a must-have in any fire-based deck. We have Fire King High Avatar Garunix in here, nice common in here. Fire King Avatar Avata, a nice level 4 and a must-have. And finally we have, of course, Fire King Island, a must-have card in your Fire King deck. And that Duelist is all for today's video. Thank you very much for making it to the end. Hopefully, by virtue of the fact that you've enjoyed it enough to have hit subscribe, and maybe even consider hitting the notification bell as well. A massive thank you to Konami for hooking me up for today's sponsored content. If you're as excited as I am about Structure Deck Fire Kings, the 7th of December is the date to put in your diary, put it in your calendars, set a reminder, do whatever you need to do to make sure you don't miss out as soon as this drops. Once again, that's all from me. Thank you very much for coming along. I do appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one.